Hi, welcome to another episode of The Pipeline. And today I couldn't be excited to record this show because my friend Glen Primak is joining us today in the studio. And it's such a pleasure to have you here, Glen. Glen is a business owner and director of Agent FTL, a brand in the real estate that has focused on the luxury waterfront and um, real estate market. And we couldn't be excited to hear from you today, Glen.
Thank you,
Welcome. And
Carlos.
tell us a little bit more about you and what made you go into the real estate industry.
Yes, so thank you first and foremost. I'm excited to be here. So I actually got into real estate in 2007. It was kind of crazy, actually. Opened up a mortgage company out of my parents' garage. It was I was 18 years old at the time. It was crazy. Everybody was trying to get a piece of the American dream, I guess you could say. But I was in the mortgage business till 2009, 2010, and after that I got into real estate in 2013 on the real estate retail side. I've always been into sales. Always loved being able to get people from point A to point B, whichever way that was, in any type of vehicle, for example. But yeah, so just recently got down to Fort Lauderdale a couple years back and always wanted to sell luxury real estate. For me, the lifestyle is super important. Love the climate, love the type of homes that we have here. And there's nothing better than waking up to your own 100-foot dock and being able to take your boat out on the water and go cruising, go fishing, and just having an incredible life.
Definitely benefits of the luxury market that you're in, and as a top producer there now, and based on what you're telling me, how was that transition when you came into the luxury market? Like, what was your first impression on that luxury market and your perspective, and how did you decide to go about it to grow your own business? What was the initial thought process there?
So it was a little bit of I want to say it was a little intimidating at first, just because coming from Philadelphia, where you don't have many sales over, let's even say, $1.5 million, $2 million. It's more rare, right? Here, it's like almost everything you're selling is between $1 million to $5 million, for example. So, it was a little intimidating, but then I just, I kind of had to get myself back together and realize we're all the same people, put our pants on the same way in the morning. But yeah, it was a little bit different of a hurdle, in the aspect where I have basically no reach, or, my area of influence here is very small. I don't know anybody here. Didn't know anybody, I should say, when I got here. So it was a little bit more challenging, but you just got to put yourself out there, and that's I think the biggest aspect of any type of sales business is you really got to put yourself in front of your potential clients.
I mean, I know you started as a single agent and you grew up to have your own team now in the Fort Lauderdale market. So all of this happening so fast, how do you decide what was the best course, how to grow, what to look for, potentially to put yourself out there? What are some of those tools that you're using for your business that help you in particular, be in front of more buyers, sellers, or generate more transactions?
Yeah, so you guys have been, very influential in when it comes to the business, right? From a marketing aspect and being able to get all the proper ads to our prospective buyers and get that in front of them, and to be able to deliver that message properly, has been a huge key to our success, right?
Yeah. I mean, for those who are joining us right now to the show, and maybe we haven't talked much about how we do what we do on the side, because our main priority is to display you and put you in front of the industry. But we do believe in creating that digital ecosystem for you as your brand, and generating a lot of content to put you in front of the right market. We want to help you dominate your market the same way you do it physically on the digital side. And for that, we always try to recommend what we see works in other part of the country and what other agents are doing. So we provide that type of advice. But on your journey as a business owner now, let's talk about the real estate market in Fort Lauderdale, right? Where do you see those opportunities? How do you see the market behaving today? How do you compare with last year, and how do you see it moving forward?
Yeah, so I've always kind of been saying that I got a piece of this back in Philadelphia, like right on the upside of COVID, I guess you could say. And we saw the same thing kind of flush into Florida, and that is, during COVID, this entire market, in my opinion, it was fake, right? This isn't a real market. There was a 2-year period where everything was just crazy, right? So you can't really look at
I
that.
think the whole industry realized it. Everybody saw it, right?
It was a 2-year period for people, especially agents in this business, to just make a crazy amount of money, right? And for sellers, for that matter, too. They made out crazy, but it wasn't real, right? So if we look back at, if we're just looking back at the statistics, obviously the real estate market has ups and downs, just like any other market. But what we're seeing right now is we're seeing, homes sell faster than they did right before pre-COVID conditions, but we are seeing a huge buyer advantage right now, right?
So you mean less time on market, but less buyers coming to the market.
Exactly. So we are seeing there are definitely less buyers in the pool, but homes are still selling slightly faster than they were, let's say, in 2020.
So how do you see that market adjusting moving forward? What are good opportunities that you recommend other agents or buyers to be looking at? How do you see that market moving forward?
So I would say there's a couple things, right? I think right now, anybody, Fort Lauderdale, I would say like 65% of our transactions, especially in our office, they're cash, right? So a lot of buyers, those buyers in particular, they don't need to worry about financing, they don't need to worry about rates. But if we're talking about just your typical 20-25% down buyer, they have some short-term pain ahead of themselves, right? We're talking as of today, we're looking at like a 7% interest rate fixed for 30 years. I mean, that's crazy. We haven't seen that, I would say, since 2006, so.
And where do you see these buyers coming from mostly? Because I'm assuming that, being this market switching, where do you see that the people that are buying on Fort Lauderdale are coming from?
Yeah, we're still seeing a lot of New Yorkers. We're still seeing a lot of people from California. But, I almost talk to, at least one person a day that's from a different state that's looking potentially, maybe not today, but, long term, they're looking to fall back into Florida.
Definitely building that pipeline up to the point where you're nurturing these leads and getting the transactions is part of the process. But no, that's so amazing to hear from your perspective, Glenn, because it puts it out there for those who are looking at the Fort Lauderdale market right now. And we also want to make this interview valuable for those agents that are just starting on the industry today, right? If you were to be starting today on the real estate industry, what would you be focusing on your time? How would you be acting to this market?
Yeah. So I think today everything's video today. Instagram Reels, TikToks. Even though I'm not a big fan of TikTok, I do like Instagram Reels. But I would say today, the majority of business is going toward all video, right? People want to see you. They want to see that you're busy. or at a very minimum that you're hustling, right? Because at the end of the day, that's going to translate, hey, listen, if this person's hustling, he's going to hustle for me, right?
Yeah.
And also, if I could tell, give agents, newer agents coming in, some advice is, don't chase the deals. The deals, they'll come, they'll fall into place. You really got to focus on doing a good job and ensuring that what you're doing is beneficial for your clients or, anybody that you're working with. Because at the end of the day, if you do a good job, the money is a byproduct. It's going to come. It's going to come.
I have these conversations with some of our partners and friends, and we believe that, right? You can't force anybody to buy, but if you're investing in yourself, if you're investing in your brand, if you're investing in your business, and you're doing, your side of it, and you're putting in the nurturing side to the human connection, the transaction will come. So I do agree with you there, 100%. Now, Glen, where can people find you? If they're looking for you, if they're looking for anything needed on your market, where can they find you?
A couple places. You could check me out on Instagram, Agent FTL, super easy. Or come take a look at what we have on www.agentftl.com.
Awesome, Glen. Well, thank you so much for today making the trip and being here.
Of course.
I know it's a short video, but it's intended to bring light into what real estate business owners are doing today to bring new transactions, to increase their pipeline, and ultimately to let more people in the industry know what is possible, right, in today's world. So thank you so much, Glen, for being part of today's show. And
of course, thank you.
Thank you for joining us.